That's fun. And what about some other buildings that you can tell me, like,
Well, honey, the old Real Colorado building was the old Pratt home, and then the one that, the little log next to it, that the Janny girls had the little cafe in, and it's still there.
It's still there.
that little one cabin that kind of faces the main street by the Lazy Miner?
They're the Lazy Miner, right?
Mhm.
Somebody ran that cafe and there was a guy that did pantomimes in there.
Kelly's.
Yes, the Kellys, remember?
Kelly was.
Mr. Booker had those.
Do you remember Grandma's line of salt?
Well, and they did the one that
Mule Train.
Mule Train,
Yeah.
you know.
Y'all, come in. Woo-hoo. So the cabin next to the Lazy Miner was a little cafe, and it was who ran it?
No, it was the Patrick Sports Shop.
Patrick's.
That little log house Walter Janny built for his wife and their 2 daughters.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then he built a little, when the girls were out of high school, he built a little cafe. They had a little cafe that was a portable building right in front of that log cabin.
Oh.
And then the Janneys sold out and left, and somebody bought that little building and moved it over where Patrick's Sports Shop is. And
that's a main building.
that's for the new, that was
You're
a,
talking about Patrick's Clothing?
Yeah.
yeah,
That was the portable building that was in front of the cabin?
that's where they started. They moved the building from Janneys across the street over there for Patrick's.
Oh.
Now, did Janneys build the Rio Colorado?
No,
No.
Pratt did. Lyman Pratt. Lyman Pratt was married to Elizabeth Moots. Elizabeth Moots was the aunt of Gene Young
And Johnny Woods.
and Johnny Moots.
Now, that was the Elizabeth of Elizabethtown? No? This is a
Well,
different
she was
one.
Elizabeth.
She wasn't Elizabeth, though?
But she
Okay.
wasn't Elizabeth of
The
Elizabeth
Elizabethtown
Town,
was
no.
Elizabeth Moore, I
Was
believe.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but she was from the Moots family,
Mm-hmm.
and she married Lyman Pratt. Lyman Pratt was the son of H.L. Pratt, who was the developer of the Carabel mine, and the Pratts had their home right where Lazy Miner is.
Oh, really? The Pratt's home was Lazy Miner?
Yeah, where Lazy Miner is now.
Okay.
That's not the same building,
No.
but it was H.L. Pratt.
You mean the same building is gone?
It's
just
gone.
Pratt's were there before
They were
Lazy
there,
Miner.
and the Carabel mine was named after his wife and his daughter.
Hmm.
His wife was Belle, he called her Belle, and the daughter was Caroline, and they call it Carabel.
Now, where did Pratt come from before he came up here to develop the mine? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure where H.L. Pratt came from. His son was Lyman. His son was Lyman Pratt. They married Elizabeth, and they started the Rio Colorado.
Okay.
Okay, that's the real Colorado.
And Lyman made his living with trucking. He had a big old Diamond T truck and a big old Federal truck that he would have hell starting in the wintertime. And they used so much gas, he used to carry 50-gallon barrel of gas on the back because they just
What was that
slurped the
Millette,
gas tank.
Millette girl that came up during the bicentennial?
Okay, so the real
Francis?
Colorado.
Francis with it?
I don't know how much ore that Carabel processed, but she made a statement one day that surprised me. And she said, "I wish I had a nickel for every gold bar I stacked." That struck me as funny. Yeah. But this is one of the Millette girls.
Sounded like Francis.
She was
which
from
from-
California.
That's I think that's Francis. She was the daughter of the people that had the house back up there behind Herman Roots on the other side. Johnny a Bobcat. She was with that family.
So the Rio Colorado was Lyman and Elizabeth Pratt.
Uh-huh.
And then that's where they started it and they lived.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and
They lived in the
then-
house right where the office is. No, where the owner's house is, right there when you go in.
Mhm.
The first house on the right.
The very first house on the
The
right?
very first house on the right. That's where they lived.
Because that's real old, you can tell.
Well, that's where they lived.
Who lives there now?
That's just
The
rented
Bookers?
out and do that?
The Booker descendants of the Bookers.
They just leave that open until they come.
They
isn't
just
it?
keep it, I think, just for
They don't really
reserved for the
I don't
family.
think so.
And so then the cabin next to that was Joe Janney built for his wife and daughters.
No,
I mean,
the house next to it was the Sherrard house. Ed Sherrard. Ed Sherrard was married to somehow to some of the Janney girls. I'm not just sure how the connection was.
Okay, I mean that little cabin on the front street.
That was built by Walter Janney. There was an uncle, would have been an uncle of Joe.
Mm-hmm, so Walter Janney did that. But that's
Yeah.
that little cabin that you said had a portable building in front.
Yeah,
But the cabin, they lived in it. It was a house.
that was their home.
That was their home.
How many cabins were in the original Rio Colorado? Do you remember?
They just built them one at a time. And I think the original ones were built out of reject ties from the sawmills. Lyman, he hauled things on his truck. I think he got an in with the mills and would buy the old reject ties and put them into cabins.
Good way to do it.
Now Patrick's now, that portable building, all of Patrick's was that portable
No,
building?
no, party, it was just before they started. It was, it wasn't probably maybe 8 foot wide,
Mhm.
8 foot wide and maybe 16 foot long. Approximately, I'm just guessing. And the girls, they made homemade pies and sold pies. And
What was it called? Was it just Janneys or?
I'm trying to think what they called it. I had a name.
Wasn't it named after one of the girls?
Well, there was Bertha May and Ann Mildred.